this week we're gonna be looking at organized planning part two. Um, Last week we looked at organized planning part one. So we split it into two sections because the chapter is quite tense. So we figured that would be best to split into two different sections. Um, so without holding it back, I'll just pick up from where we left off last time. We left on when and how to apply for a position. Um, Specifically on this chapter, I'll be mainly focusing on applying a job. Um, as you see, the technique that I want to be sharing here is just to apply for a specific job role. Um, the reason why I chose to apply this to work is because when I first discovered this technique, or when I first learned what I've learned, I literally had nothing. And the purpose of the course, it was for me to help people that virtually have nothing, people that are really starting from the bottom. Um, because when I first learned it, I didn't have a job, I didn't have anything. I think this will be the best place for me to really give you guys an introduction of why am I even so passionate to be running out this training course, um, and then how I literally got to turn my life around. Uh, a good 13, 16 years ago, I came in this country with my elder sister. I was still a teenager, I was 10, 11. We came from Africa, Congo. The reason why we came in England was basically to better our life because our parents sent us here so we can come and study and better our life and become successful people on our own right. Um, what happened to me was when I first came here, me being young, and plus in the environment that I was living, it wasn't like one of the best environment you can actually bring someone up, you can raise a child. So I started going to school, um, being having a language barrier as English wasn't my first language and I couldn't speak English at this time. Um, I literally didn't know nothing to do with the country. I was like a foreigner, I just came in the country. And the information that I would gain from the country was from the people around me. And people around me, they were majority of them wasn't black, they were white people. And then they started training me in a sense of how they perceived black kids supposed to be. Um, and the way they perceived it, they was mainly referring to kids, like cool kids in the street, in the sense of the street black kids. So they refer to me that as being black is supposed to be cool, is supposed to be wearing like urban clothes, is supposed to be talking urban. So basically that's what they were installing in my head. Um with photo success saying that you are part of your environment, you are who you hang around with most of the time, you are what you listen to, you are what you focus your attention on most of the time. So with that in mind, I easily got influenced into the urban life. So with my dedication of actually coming to study, that started to slowly fade away. um I was more interested into the urban world. I was more interested into rap music. Therefore, I even had a dream of to become a rapper, and I started rapping. And I started doing a lot of various stuff, which wasn't aligned with the purpose what I first came in England for, which later on and led me get into various trouble. I started to get in trouble all the time. My concentration was lost. I wasn't focused no more. Years passed. I turned 16. My sister, she was still strict with me in a sense of still sending me to go to school, go college to study, to trying to keep me basically focused on my goal. But because my influence around me was so strong, it actually pushed me to run away from home. So when I was 16, I ran away from home. I started living by myself. Um, And then I was fully engaged into the urban life. I started doing all the imaginable things that you could possibly think of, and I got myself in so much trouble. And until later on the years when I was 18, 19, I came across something called Illuminati. And the Illuminati at those time, um, it was like a secret society of, of a sense of a conspiracy of them being in charge of the world and them being in charge of education, of the media, and them not basically controlling the world and shaping the world according to their will. Um, that really struck my attention because I was thinking, wow, that is some powerful organization. Because if there could be an organization or body where people don't even know who they are, and they actually are in the background controlling our lives and controlling our everyday to day activities, I thought this is something sounds very interesting because um as a younger, I always was thirsty for power, always wanted to be a leader, I always wanted to be in charge. And these people sounded like leaders, they sounded like people in charge to me. So I felt, yeah, this is something that I need to look at. Let me study this organization. And I started studying this organization. They actually started opening my eyes in a lot of possibility because all those time I was bound to a Christian. I was a very strong believer into the church, into the Bible, and this Illuminati group or movement, from where I was getting my information, seemed as though they were opposite Christianity or what people call the devil worshipper. There was more onto that kind of line. Personally, it didn't scare me in a sense of them being devil worshipper because at the time when I came to know this information, bearing in mind that I was young, I had cars, I had my house, I used to get money, I used to make up to easily in one day £300 to £400 a day. So money wasn't really an issue for me on those younger age. I almost felt like I had everything, but I still wasn't feeling fulfilled in a way. I still felt like life for me had a bigger purpose than what I was currently living. And I looked around my surrounding, it felt like we was trapped in a cycle because everything that I was doing, it was like people, the elder people did it already, and in a way I could see the cycle being making money, get arrested, go to prison, spend a long time, come out and do it again, or get shot and die. Basically, that's the only possibility I was seeing in the life that I was leading at those times. So I felt like I needed something more because I wanted my life to be more fruitful. So I started studying this organization, and there wasn't really much information that will come in except for them being just control in a way control freaks. They just wanted to control humanity. And then I thought to myself that that couldn't really work out well. How could these people be so evil um and us will still leave them rule for centuries? So I started digging a lot more deeper, and I came across meditation, and which really opened my eyes in a sense of because I was stressed at those time. I had a lot of questions. I started questioning my existence. I started questioning God the Creator. I started questioning my religion, and meditation for me it was the answer that I needed because I told myself how to be relaxed, how to calm my mind down, how to be focused, how to be central. Um, and then when I did that, what happened was things started changing. I started noticing that the way I was thinking, the way I was feeling, I started noticing that there is actually more into life than what I knew. Um, with my rapping career in mind, I started proclaiming words on my raps and they started coming reality. And then that really where the key start point was for me, that the fact that I could proclaim things and them actually manifesting in reality. So I thought, okay, if this is actually true, it's not just by my imagination, then let me be a creator of my life. In a sense, let me rewrite my life of how I wanted it to be. Um, so I, through years of meditation, dedication, bearing in mind that my parents wasn't really happy that I gave up my dreams of chasing to be working to study. I thought maybe let me give my parents that. Let me do something that make my parents, my family happy of me. Um, so there you go. As bro, I said I must be working. I need to have a job. Um, and then I just didn't want to have any job because I always wanted to be a boss. So I said I wonder what job where will allow me to wear a suit. Um, I then recall this day clearly that I went to my family and then I told them that one day I'm gonna be working in the office. I'm gonna be wearing a suit and people will be respecting me. They took that lightly. They laughed at me. They said, "You don't have no qualifications. You haven't been studied. How is that possible? You're gonna be a boss in a company?" Um, so I still persevere in my dream, even though they didn't believe in me. But I knew that from my rapping career, that everything I will proclaim in my rap will come in true. So I thought if I can proclaim to myself becoming a boss, it will come true. So that's what I did. I started um, writing my CV, preparing myself, and then just like I said, everything I proclaimed came true. Um, Currently, I do work. I'm assistant manager in a construction industry. Um, Without any formal qualification whatsoever, I went very quickly from the entry level into managerial level within 2 years. So that just showed me that yes, it is possible that you can actually think it and it can happen. And it has happened, and now I'm just playing with it every day. I'm so grateful. I'm trying to achieve bigger aspects of myself. I'm trying to raise my vibration to become the boss that I truly inspire myself to be. Um, the reason why I share that story with you is just to show you that the limits that we have as beings is what we impose to ourselves in our mind. So if our mind is limited in certain belief, then that belief will be true to you. If you believe that you need to study in order for you to be successful, then that is 100% true. That will be your reality because your reality is only what you think of it. So if you think in that way, then that'll be your way. And if you think of the way of thought of success that you are the creator of a being, whatever you will yourself to happen will happen, that will also happen. So I have got a sample of my CV and the cover letter that I actually used when I went to apply for my work. I'll send that as in an email just as a sample for you. If you want to apply for a job, you can copy it and model it from that, edit it and change it to make it more aligned to you. Um, Now there's something that is called brief of qualification. In book of Think and Grow Rich in page 175, Dr. Hill kind of specifically pointed out how you can write this brief of qualification, which I'm gonna be sending to you my one that I have done, so you can just edit that and start using that for applying for work because it does work. I had no qualification, although now I'm planning to go get certain qualification in order for me to progress in certain levels, but it still work in a sense that I am actually assisting a project manager that requires people 5 years of study in order for them to be project managers. um, I did that without any form of education, and I did it as quick as 48 months. So anything is possible with the right determination and right dedication. So when I send the CV over, just look at it, and any position that you're going for, just go for it. It doesn't matter if you have skills. With the techniques and the training that you'll be getting for a success, you should be qualified. You should be the master of your own environment, and you should start setting your own standards and your own limit. Okay. Um, because this chapter of this week, it being organized planning, we are mainly focusing on the physical aspect of ourselves. So we're gonna be looking at one formula that Mr. Carnegie stressed to Dr. Hill. Mr. Carnegie is actually the person that initiated Napoleon Hill, inspired him, instructed him to write the book Think and Grow Rich. Just a quick story about Mr. Carnegie. Mr. Carnegie, he was a Scottish refugee in USA. He went to USA when he was 12-year old with his mom as a refugee. Then he started literally working from the bottom. He worked at the railway, and then later on, as he grew, he invented the steel railway. Because back in excuse me, back in his time, the railway track used to be wooden, and they used to have a lot of problem with the wood burning and then slowing down the mark and the merchandise that the business people those times they were trying to ship. So when he introduced the steel, clearly the steel wasn't burning, and everybody that worked with his company, the merchandise was always there on time. They wasn't having problem of track burning as other provider was. So he became one of the richest, wealthiest people of his time. And it's actually still is until I did still I think one of the top 5 wealthiest people on our planet. Um, and then before he died, because what that was one of his passion, he said that he would chase money all of his life, and once he's getting, he will give it back. And one of the people that he gave it back to was Mr. Hill, Napoleon Hill. He was a journalist at those time that wanted to give this great person an interview, and then his interview actually ended up being the book now we have Think and Grow Rich. The formula that he gave to Napoleon Hill, it was the QQS rating. I wanna explain what is the QQS rating means, and we'll break it down on how you should be applying this formula from now on every single thing you do in your life, especially if you're applying for work. This formula works perfectly well with your employer to guarantee you to pass your probation and to stay employed for as long as you choose. Okay, so the first Q in the QQS stands for quality, and then in terms of the job is when you first start your work, or once you apply for a job and you're being granted the role, um your first day is your quality day. So this day you should make it as your learning day. It should be the day where you literally bring with you a pad and a pen for you to literally write down every single thing on your first day in your work. So that means you need to write down um all of the tasks your job description says that you should provide. You should write that down. um you should ask as much questions as possible on your first day, and especially those questions that you feel the dumb question. Those are the questions that you supposed to be asking and writing them down. And you should also write down the thoughts and the feelings that comes to you when you're being introduced to your new colleagues, when you're being introduced to the task. Write down every little thing that you're feeling at that time, and especially your colleagues' name, because you're gonna be working with them. So it's best to write them down so you remember their names. So write down literally everything for that first day. And the second Q in the QQS rating formula is quantity. So first it was quality, the quality of the service that you're gonna be providing. So in order for you to provide quality, you need to know what you must do. So that's why you have to write down everything. And then quantity is the quantity that you'll be providing these services. So after recording everything on your first day, and that actually depends on the nature of your task or the nature of the work. Um, so after you have written down everything that you need, you should be bearing in mind that for you, your employer is gonna judge you only on your job description. So that means if your the quantity of the service that you're providing matches your job spec, your job description, then your employer in a way they won't really favor you, or they won't really and the judge you as well, because you're actually providing them what they asked for. But in the quantity of it is for you to try to perfect the speed that you deliver it. So let's say if on your first probation period it took you like 2 hours to do such task, you want, as to be progressive on your employment, you want to minimize those time that you provide those tasks. So start cutting it down from 2 hours to 1 hour and a half, and then still providing it with the high standard that your employer expects you, but the time, reduce the time, and that will give you your quantity of service. It will be highly favorable to your employer, because you're getting your tasks done in less time and with a higher standard. Any employer will love that. And then the S in the QQS, that stands for your spirit, and actually your spirit, because as we've been explaining here, that as well that we are physical being, we also spiritual being, and the spiritual side of us being like the actual mother of of our nature, or the backbone, is actually what make our reality, because we are not physical being. Our reality is we are spiritual being dwelling into the physical world. So the spirit of this formula is actually the backbone, and then the spirit that you should be having in mind when you're carrying your task is the spirit of harmony. You should be harmonized with your task, with your environment. You should be harmonized with everything that you're doing. You should be agreeable. You should induce cooperation from your associates and your work colleagues. So you need to have this a pleasant spirit in your back of your mind all the time, so you can attract the right people around you, so you can attract people around you. Your vibe should be a good vibe. You should send off good vibe to people, so you going to work with the mind frame of I'm here to help them, I'm here to make this thing better. That's the spirit that you should be having. um and then now I'm just gonna reveal some hidden messages on this QQS formula. Like I explained, the first day you should be dedicating your first day of taking notes and asking a lot of questions, because the quantity of work that you will give, you will need to give that quantity. It will be based on your ability of recording down the information you first got on your first day. Because with you actually comprehending, understanding what you're asked to do, you'll be able to provide best quality of work, and that the quantity of work will be agreeable to your employer. And then you should mix that with your spirit of harmony, your spirit of love, of caring and helping. And hence that's what we said the spirit was the backbone. So this is now what you should be doing with all of the notes that you've taken for. So right now I'm going to share with you a powerful technique which will actually enable you to start creating that perfect job every day. So what you will need to do, you will need to write like a movie script. And don't worry at this stage if you don't know how to write scripts, because actually in For a Success we have department that dedicates into writing movie scripts of people, and I'm more than happy to help you. That you drop me an email or whatever you're calling that you want to do, we can help to write a script for you. But the script should be something that goes something like this. So you should write it from the first day that you come into work. um you should write how you want that first interest to come, your interaction with your people, how you're gonna be carrying out your work, how you want your day. And this day in particular, when you're writing a script, it should be one of your best, greatest day at work, one of those successful days that were like magical days. Those days you're like, wow, I love coming to work because of days like this. So that's why your script should be one of those days. And then you should throw in as many details as possible, as though if that script was um if we were to say for you to read that script to somebody that never been to your workplace, that never been to your work before, or you're telling someone's story, you should be able to give them that script as a movie that literally explain every little thing that you see in your day at work. And then once you got that script written, what you do with that script is now is every morning prior you to go to work, when you wake up, you first do your daily meditation, you proclaim your words. I will be learning as we've been teaching you. um so you get yourself in a relaxed state of mind, and then what you need to do is play your script in your mind's eye. So start playing your day, that perfect day in your mind from start to the finish. And then once you finish, get ready, get showered, do whatever you need to do, and then go to work. And that script should be the script that you be doing throughout your entire probation period. Every day before you go to work, you play that script. For me, I did my script for a good 3 months, so I can intensify it, so it could actually be my second nature, so it can be around me. And another thing with that script is that is when you are playing those scripts, sometimes your current circumstances or your environment, it won't actually be matching your script. But don't let that discourage you. Carry on, because people feel your vibe, they feel your soul, they feel your energy. And if you keep playing that script, that'll be the aura feel you're creating for yourself in your workplace. So eventually what will happen is people, because first they don't even know who you are because you're a new colleague to them. And by you playing that script, that'll be the information you're feeding to them subconsciously, and that's how they'll be perceiving you. And eventually what will happen, they will change themselves to align themselves with that strong energy that you're giving, because you're every day playing that same script for moms. That will actually enable other people that don't do the script, of course, to align and to be part of you, therefore you having power of your environment. So powerful technique there of writing a script. Okay guys, um now we're gonna look at the 30 major cause of failure. Like I said, this organized planning chapter was a very beautiful, powerful chapter because it explains a lot of things. So now we're just gonna look at the causes of why some people fail, because um in photo success we believe in your awareness of things is where your power comes, because power is invisible. So remember that everything is mental. So by you becoming aware of things, it actually gives you power to change you. Okay, so now we need to make you aware of the reason why people fail. And if you can see these aspects in yourself, you should start looking at of changing it, so you can be powerful. All right. So the first cause of failure is unfavorable heritage background. Um, so when with this unfavorable background, so basically is I'm just giving powers of how to change this in these circumstances. It is you. So favorable background is like people that you were born in a broke family. Like that's something that you can't help. Like you were born in a family that's starving, a family that's struggling, a family that's broke. There's nothing that you can do there. and then subconsciously, unfortunately enough, they will affect you, because if your family always complaining about money, that's what the program that they're giving you, that life is hard, money is hard. So that's something that you will need to break in order for you to actually become successful. So how do you break it? So you start watching wealthy people lifestyle, start watching films, start watching videos of people that are born in the wealthiest family, how they live, what kind of information the parents teach them, and model that to yourself. And then you should also have a habit of start treating yourself, especially when you come from a poor background. You should start trying to dine like in five-star hotel, trying to travel first class services. Just do that once in a while, so you just know how it feels like to be in those places, so you can start breaking those subconscious limits that you had from your background of thinking that life is hard. Because I can assure you that life is not hard, and then wealthy people don't think it's hard. They just think you have to be focused and dedicated and be persistent in your task. That's what they think. They don't think life is hard. They think life is easy. And it's quite arrogant for someone that never had money before to say life is easy to someone that's struggling. That's why people call you arrogant. But they're not arrogant, because that is actually the truth. Life is not hard. Life is actually easy once you know what you want to get. Um, the, the cause number two what people fail is lack of a well-defined purpose in life. So if you don't really know what you want to do, if you don't really know where you want to go, clearly you'll be failing, because in a way you'll be just getting what is given to you, so you won't be able to calculate, to analyze the success, to actually see your achievement. So this is because most people they don't know what the life purpose is, and they're so materialistic, and then they just think that um life is a destination rather than life being a journey. You see, when people in mind they think of, oh, my life, my purpose in life is to become a singer, or to become this, or to become that. That's my purpose in life. You see what most people do? I'm not saying that having purpose such as being a singer, or having purpose as such driving a Range Rover, that shouldn't be a purpose in life. I'm saying that could be a purpose in life, but I'm saying when people think like that, they think of it as limiting themselves. I think in the terms of them, in the mind, what they're actually saying is that once I am a singer, that's it, my life is over. That's my purpose, and I'm ready to go. And I'm afraid to say that in a way that's wrong thinking, because life is a journey, it's not a destination. We are powerful beings. We're the mass of our universe. So therefore, anything materialistic, we can create that. So that is not our purpose. Our purpose as a human whole is for us to add value in the planet. It's for when you leave this planet, it's for you to look back, what have I added back, what value have I added back to the planet. And that should be our purpose, adding values. So you need to think of life as a journey. Say, I would like to experience being a singer. You see the difference? I would like to experience being a manager. I would like to experience driving a Range Rover. So you're actually going for experiences. You're going for a journey. You're not going for a destination. Because after you be a singer, you might think, oh, actually, I sang now. I want to do something else. You see, that's what life is about. So know what you wanna experience, achieve it, and achieve more and achieve more. Keep going until you add as much value as possible, because life is not a destination, rather life is a journey. Okay, so that's why most people fail, because they keep forgetting that they think life is a destination rather than life being a journey. And then the third cause was lack of a mission, and to aim above mediocrity. So basically, just to remind you that ambition comes with right desire. So once your desire is right, once your desire is really a burning desire, with the technique that we've been teaching you, guarantee an ambition will come because you will feel inspired. Your energy will increase. So you will be motivated, knowing that once you achieve that, you'll be feeling the excitement that we just been sharing with you now. And also, people are scared to aim high because they might think, oh no, only my family done that before, or people around me haven't done that. Forget that. Um, like only limits that you have is what you impose in your head. So don't be afraid to aim above high. Cause listen, shoot for the stars, and if you land on the moon, it's alright. At least you're out of this planet, you know you achieved somewhere far. So always remember that you're no limit. Don't be scared. Um, and another cause was insufficient education. Um, this one people really this is what it was one of my challenges when I started setting out to chase my dreams, because I wanted to be like in a corporate ladder and to be like a real high manager in a corporate ladder. And then people say you lack education, that won't happen. And then because of that, people actually stop dreaming because they think I don't have enough education, so me chasing that path is impossible. That's a lie. Like, you can learn anytime you want. Education is just you being aware of what you want to do and actually carrying it out. And best form of education is what you're doing now. Photo success. That is the best education. Like, basic reading and writing is crucial in a sense that you will need. It's not even crucial because depending on what you want to do, depending on where you want to go, you can hire people to write things for you. You can hire people to read things for you. So education is not, it shouldn't be something to slow you down. Like, if you really want to learn something, it takes you 90 days to reprogram your subconscious mind. So for 90 days you can dedicate yourself to learn what anything you want, and you'll be ready, you know. So it's not what you know, it's what you do with what you know. So there will be a lot of people that go university with high qualification and they come out, they still like an average person. They're still working 9 to 5. They're still working for a corporation, and they're still being told what to do. So what do they do with all of that information they went to uni for? They learned for 5 years and years just to be working with similar with somebody that didn't go to university or get £2,000 more. If that makes sense to you, I'm not judging anyone here. If that makes sense to you, then great. But for me, really, the knowledge is not what you know, is what you do with what you know. And that's where power comes from, alright? So number 5 was lack of self-discipline. This one is very crucial because certain people, they might start thinking in the right mind frame for success, might start inspiring them to think, and they start having beautiful goals and planning the goals, but they lack self-discipline in a sense. They lack, when they tell themselves, I have to wake up at 12 o'clock, they lack the self-discipline to actually get up at 12 o'clock. And that's why most people fail, because they don't discipline themselves. They don't have that willpower intensify here where they can tell themselves do A and they actually go do A. So that's self-discipline is actually one of the toughest thing to acquire, because that's almost self-mastery. It comes from self-discipline. In focus success, there's a lot of technique that we've been teaching you, a lot of affirmation word that we taught you already. That all of them, if you apply it persistently, it helps with the development of self-discipline. So that's why it's crucial. Every technique that we teach is not for you to just have it as information in a shelf. It's for you to actually apply it, because when you start applying it, that's when you start developing more self-discipline. And another cause of failure is ill health, because you got bad health, and then people actually think, oh, because I'm disabled, or because I can't walk, because I can't do this, my ability is limited, and then all of that. Hey, me, listen. In England here, we had a minister called David Blanket. This guy was blind, and he was still a minister. So there you go. They literally had to change everything for him because he couldn't read like in the screen like everybody else's code. He couldn't do things like all of his other colleagues could, but he still managed to become a minister. So it just shows you there's no excuses here. It just, what do you want? Know what you want. There's not limit. The limitation is just what you set yourself in the mind. Um, so just because the health is quite crucial, um, then that's another subject for another course, for another talk, another topic. But you should try always trying to maintain a good health. So always trying to eat a healthy meal a day, at least once a day. Um, Only think positive no matter what, cause that's healthy. Even things are going wrong, just trying to think positive. Um, don't release too much sex energy. Um, Limit it to at least 3 times a week because sex energy can actually destroy you as well. Um, and try to do some form of exercise every day, even if it means 10 press of a day. That still classifies exercise. Even a 45-minute walk just to keep yourself healthy. Um, if you're not fortunate to get fresh air, learn some breathing exercises. Which been telling you that meditation, daily meditation is actually healthy for you. So trying to keep those healthy habits going. Um, Another course was unfavorable environment influence during childhood. Um, this is also if like your parents being neglecting you, your parents being um like your childhood background was people who you were being bullied, and all of that kind of unfavorable childhood background that you couldn't actually control, like your parents telling that you're fat, calling your name, making you think like that. That actually how you to grow as a child, but um my experience um is basically don't let those parent limiting behavior affect you now as you're growing up, knowing that you are aware. That's why should start using affirmation, looking at words that they used to say to you when you was a kid, when they said that you're not so small, and then now you can start changing that to words such as I'm always passionate about learning, I'm always focusing on what I need to do, I always somehow manage to learn the right information. Use affirmation to start proclaiming those words and retraining yourself. Uh, and one of the other causes that people feel is procrastination. Um, Procrastination is one of the biggest one because people, especially in a day and age, we always want to be perfectly ready in order for us to initiate an idea. But in 4 or 6 they'll tell you this that there's no such thing as the right time. The right time is now. So whatever idea that you have, if you can put in action, if you can implement it now. Don't wait for the perfect time. The perfect time will come. You will learn as you evolve. Like never wait until the time is right. Just go with it and improve as you're going along. But life is not a destination, it's a journey. So don't watch where you started, just watch how the journey is progressing and where you're going. And that's what matters. It's not when you're ready, it's what you're doing now to get ready. Okay? Uh, and another cause one, this one is actually aligned to each other: procrastination and persistence. Lack of persistence is very crucial because a lot of people fail because they initiated an idea and somehow they didn't even accomplish what they wanted and they gave up because the going got too tough. But in thought of success, because we teach you a direct method of communicating with infinite intelligence, giving you this super knowledge, super guidance. Basically you are doing most of the infinite intelligence actually doing most of the hard work if you was not aware of it now. for it to guide you giving your plan. That's the most hard work. The only thing that will be left for you to do is just to see your plan through. Just keep being persistent with it. And keep going with it, and keep aligning yourself and keep going, because once the plan is coming from the divine, it always work. The minor challenges is just for you to build your character. Maybe your plan requires you to be in a certain level of character. That's why you having those challenges, so you can overcome them and to be powerful. Also in for you being initiated in for a success, we can actually help you because we log in like every weekend to give this training in the way that's showing persistency into something. So when we'll be meeting every week, that you can actually use that as an opportunity, that every time I'm meeting with thought and success is a week where I review my goals, where I review my targets and to check my progression. And that in a way is you being persistent, and you being persistent in what you're doing. And another cause of failure is negative personality. um like I've noticed that some people that are fortunate, that life really push them around the corner and they're not where they need to be. Sometimes these people become really negative people. They become envious. Um, they don't. They just nasty. They don't want to talk to people nicely. Also, that pushes people away from you. Just because you don't have something, it doesn't mean that you should be aggressive toward people that have it, and you should be aggressive toward other people. Because like, especially let's say like those people that work in a supermarket, they might be aggressive for something else, and then a shopper come to buy something, and then they're scanning it with all mean, no being pleasant, without, and forgetting that maybe that shopper hide something for them that could have helped them, but because of them being negative, now the guy's like, oh, I best just leave them alone. They're not having a good day or a great day, and that's it. They go and they miss the opportunity. So always try to be kind to people and friendly to people, and try to praise people, because people love praises. No one will lie to you. People love praises, so like to praise people, so people will be doing you favors. Another cause of failure is lack of control of the sex urges. You see, sometimes you might meet um someone of the opposite sex, and this person, they genuinely want to help you, but because of your lack of your control of your sexual urges, you might think, oh, this person wanna have a sexual intercourse with me. Let me try to have a sexual intercourse, and then you ruin the relationship because they might not be thinking in that terms, and then they don't want to talk to you now because you're making them feel uncomfortable because you're sexually harassing them all of the time, and then you lost your opportunity. So learn how to control by thinking how you carry your activity. Um, trying to always to not make the move. Try not to approach people in a sexual way all the time. Okay. And control desire for something from nothing. This is actually common because a lot of people want to be successful, especially people that chase riches in terms of money. They want to have so much money, but they don't want to put in work for it. It's like they don't want to work and they want to have money. We should start actually in for success. We always believe in the spirit of give to get. So whatever you give is what you get back. So remove the idea that you're gonna get something for nothing. You always have to provide some form of services in order for you to gain something. Remember that nothing is for free. Another cause is lack of a well-defined power of decision. Um, Next week actually we're gonna be looking at decision. We're gonna look how why is it important to make decisions. So people sometimes are afraid to decide because of the outcome of what they're deciding. It might not be what they actually want, but just making decision actually helps you. Even if you make a wrong decision, that's what you're gonna learn is a wrong decision. So don't be afraid to decide. Okay. um One of the causes, one or more six of the basic fear um you don't need to know anything now, but we will explain the 6 basic fears, because they actually kill a lot of people in terms of their desire. So you don't need anything, because the most powerful adversary you will ever face is death. You need to know that you will die, because we all do, and it's part of evolution. So you will never have a better understanding on this chapter. So you should know that nothing really should frighten you, because even death shouldn't really scare you, because at the end of the day, we're all gonna die. I know you don't want to die prematurely, surely you're gonna die. So we're gonna explain this fear more into the later chapter, so you understand. um Another one is wrong selection of marriage, of a male in marriage or a female in marriage. um in the sense that sometimes your marriage partner, they could actually demotivate you, because when we'll get to in chapter transmission of your sexual energy, we explain how your partner could actually influence you. So if you don't have the right partner in marriage, they could actually be the reason of you failing into attaining your goal. um Another one is over caution. um Over caution is not actually good, to always overthink of the negative stuff, or to overthink stuff. Sometimes you can, like, for instance, in a day and age in London right now, we are all afraid of terror attack. We're thinking that London is about to get attacked. That is just a possibility which may or may not happen. But if you're overcautious, oh, London's gonna attack, he's gonna attack, you end up not going to London no more, or you don't want to come out your house and missing out all these opportunities into something that probably will not even happen. So overcautious sometimes is not good. So sometimes know the possibility of things that could happen, but always hope for the best. Okay, working on positivity, no negativity here. And the other one, it was wrong selection in the business associate, and that's self-explanatory. If you don't have the right business associate, then they won't prompt you to make the right decision, and therefore your business or your plan will actually not work. And superstition and predestinations, those are the things that people being told, like me, when I was young, I was told opening umbrella in the room is bad luck and all of those stuff. um and then also people talk about the story in the Bible that says about God and Satan, that you're gonna burn in hell and all of those stuff. And those are just stories, like any other story they used to tell people. Nothing is really true. The power lays in your mind. Whatever you believe to be true, it is true to your reality. So if you think 13 is a bad luck number, and you believe it's a bad luck, then hey boy, guess who you attract? To attract bad luck. So superstition and prediction, those are just stories. You don't really have to entirely believe in them, because you are the master of your universe. You create through your thought what you believe to it to be. It is. Okay. Selection of vacation. Some people actually do work. They work in a job where they hate, they don't like. Instead of you being where you don't like, you could just simply stop and risk it into finding something that will be best for you. Um, Other cause is lack of concentration of effort. Um, so before you do anything, before I proceed any further, I would like to remind you that the list that we're going through is not 100% accurate, because being related to it, because it's being related to my life experience, what I'm trying to explain here. So lack of effort and concentration really kills a lot of people, because people, you're not concentrate enough on your goal, you're not concentrate enough on your purpose, and you're not putting enough effort, you're not pushing yourself to the limit. But don't get it wrong, you are very fortunate to be in for a success. But for a success is actually We'll help you to be concentrating, to put the effort. We'll push you because we like your coach in a way. Like when you go to the gym, when we push you just to do that last one rep, and that's over here. Another cause of failure is the habit of discriminate spending, where people uh, spend money more than what they earn, and then they're being tight. They don't want to let money go. 'Cause money is energy. Money needs to flow in order for it to come. If your money is not flowing, you're putting a stop to it. Then you don't want to have money come. So you need to know your means of spending, and you need to know when you're saving as well. Don't just save for the sake of saving to be greedy, because you actually blocking the money flow. So save for a purpose. Another one is lack of enthusiasm. And then you should be enthusiasm in your task. You should be enthusiasm in your goal, because that what motivates you, inspire you. If you're not enthusiasm enough, you give up your goal before you even begin. So find your enthusiasm on that. Okay. Intolerance is one of the reason people fail as well. Never limit yourself. We are living in an infinite universe with infinite opportunity. There's still things that we yet need to understand and experience. So you must be willing to accept that you don't know what you don't know, and you know, and then what you know might also be wrong. So never limit yourself. Always be open-minded. When someone tells you something, don't just judge them and then block it out. Just listen, because you don't know what you don't know. And maybe what you do know might be wrong as well. So always be open-minded into things, and don't be afraid to try out things, because I rather you to experience it than to not experience it at all. So always know that, right? Um, Interdependence. So basically, another thing is similar to lack of self-control, because self-control is the key. But for me personally, enough is not enough. I want the world. In fact, this is we recommend that before you start creating your fantasy life, that you first create the essential which you need in the current society. So because enough is not enough for a success, and we always like to create fantasy. But before you actually start aiming for millions and billions, you need to create the essentials. So you need to have like a shelter, a house, and clothes. Once you create that, that will actually enable you to expand, to go do more things. Okay. Another cause of failure is inability to cooperate with other people. Um, listen. You need cooperation with people in order for you to actually become something. So your ability to cooperate with people um will help you, because sometimes it's not what you know as well, is who you know. So cooperation is the key. um another another cause of failure is possession of power that was not acquired through self-effort. So sometimes people want to be powerful, and then they don't even want to work hard for it. They just want it to be given. So that also makes people fail, because okay, I'm not saying that if your family were powerful and they pass on the power to you, that you will fail. No, what I'm saying is that if they pass power to you, you need to learn how to control the power, because if you doesn't learn how to control the power, you will lose. And then another cause of of failure is intentional dishonesty, when people intentionally lie. Um, being dishonest is actually a trap, because you're trapping yourself. You have to be true to yourself and others so you can shine. Because when you're in denial, you're always gonna be hiding stuff. You're always gonna be living in a prison that you mentally create yourself. Um, Another cause of failure is egotism and vanity. Um, don't let your ego rule you, because your ego, you don't want to do this, or because you're too vain to do certain thing, to stop your ability to actually achieve your goal. I mean, it's good to look after yourself, to know your standards, but you also know you need to do certain work that requires you to work. So bear that in mind. Another cause of failure is guessing instead of thinking. People tend to guess things instead of actually do research and think things through. So in either in first six, even though we don't believe in such thing as facts, but sometimes it's good to have the general information around, just to look around and think it through. Just don't guess. Another cause of failure is lack of capital, and this I find it quite funny. People think, oh, because I don't have so much revenue, I can't start now. I can't start to do a specific thing, or I can't do a particular thing. To me, I think that's not so true, because you don't really have to have capital to start things. With the right connection, right planning, anything is happening, especially in this 21st century that we live in. Okay. Um, excuse me. Another um another thing that we like to do, I actually like to do this every year, is self analyst question for personal inventory. Is where we ask ourselves questions, which if you look at page, spare me a moment. If you look at page 193 in the book, Dr. Hill says some inventory question that we carry out every year to to find out how you to basically track progression of yourself, and then of where you are and how you're progressing with your goal. And this is just me answering my question, which I will send the questionnaire to you, and get to a habit to start asking yourself this question each year, and to track your progression and to see how you're moving, because sometimes it does help. Sometimes you're growing, but because you're not seeing it yourself and you think that you're not growing. So that's why it's crucial to ask yourself those questions. Okay, I love this chapter, guys. This chapter, organized planning, is very intense, one of the most challenging, but this is a good platform for you to start seeing progression and then start applying. So next week we'll go on decision, one of the another good, interesting chapters. So until then, I wish you peace.